Hey, good morning, Annette. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you too. I'm kind of enjoying this getting together every Monday morning to discuss these topics.
I agree with you. I think it's fun and hopefully helpful to people.
Yeah, well, last Monday we were talking about commission and we were talking about clients, and one term that came up was agency. And I
Mhm.
wanted to spend a little bit of time today discussing what that means both for the agent and for the client, because there's a bit of confusion among some agents, and it's really important that the buyer or the seller understand this. So can you briefly tell me what agency means?
With regard to working in real estate, agency is just another way to describe a fiduciary responsibility that an agent takes on when he or she is hired by a client. And fiduciary obligation is a serious business. It means we care about your best interests. We are responsible for minding the monies involved in a transaction, being aware of the timeline in a transaction, keeping your confidences, not sharing any confidential information that could harm you if other people knew what your strategies were, for example. And I think you're right. There's a lot of misunderstanding. The clients don't really understand that without hiring us, they don't have those things. And unfortunately, you're correct. Agents don't always know how to properly explain it, and that's problematic.
So tell me about here in Massachusetts, what's required of the agent?
Well, before we're talking about any specific property with a potential client, we are mandated by law to share with you a document that, by the way, is not a contract, but is in fact just a disclosure that gives you a list of your options when working with a real estate agent.
Now,
And if
you
we
say
don't
it's,
present it to you in the very beginning of our relationship, then frankly, we are outside the mandate of Massachusetts law.
you say it's not a contract. We require the client to sign it though.
Well, there's a place there if they refuse to. We are required to share it with you, to show
So,
it to you.
so the signature is not a contract, but an acknowledgement that you've given them the information.
Exactly.
Okay. What types of agency can they choose from?
Well, once hired, we are responsible for taking extremely good care of the clients with whom we work. We must put their interests in front of anything else in any dealings when it comes to real estate. We're to share everything we know about a property, a community, and anything that's germane to their ability to make a good decision, either when buying or accepting an offer and selling. It's a big deal. It should be a big deal.
Talk to me about what fiduciary responsibility means. I've seen some ads on TV where somebody says, I'm a fiduciary. What does that really, really mean?
Really means that if I am a professional who values my license, I'm going to take damn good care of you. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to mind all the details of a transaction. I'm going to negotiate fiercely on your behalf, not on the behalf of a sale, because so many agents are more interested in consummating a sale, whether it is or is not in the client's best interest. It really means putting my client's needs well ahead of anything else. It's as simple as that.
Now, we've both been in situations where we have worked for the seller, the listing agent,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody comes in, wants to make an offer,
Right.
and they are unrepresented. They're not working with an agent, and sometimes they don't want to work for an agent. I think there are a
I
number.
always ask them why not. I always say to them, you're working harder, not smarter. Why don't you take advantage of being represented by a professional? And their
And
answer is usually that they believe it will save them some money. I think that's a mistaken belief. I don't think that's accurate. I think it comes from an understanding or a misunderstanding of our commission structure. And they figure, well, if an agent gets both halves of a deal, they'll share some of that commission back with me by lowering the price or accepting a lower offer. But the truth is, you could coerce an agent to take a lower commission and still overpay on a property, because nobody is walking you through what the comparables are, what the going rate in the community is, or whether or not a professional feels that the property is appropriately priced. So theoretically, on a $500,000 sale, you could convince everybody to give you a $5,000 break when the comps point to a price that should be $20,000 less than you're paying. And nobody's giving you that advice. So
Well,
to
then,
me,
let
it's crazy.
me ask you one more question then.
Yeah.
Since agents get paid by commission, if I hire you as my buyer's representative, how much is it going to cost me?
That's a really interesting question, because you're right, we have to get paid. But the truth is, we are paid from the proceeds of the sale. The money comes to us quite specifically from the listing agency. And here's how it works. When you sign a listing to sell your home, you agree to pay the listing agent and the agency they work for a percentage of the sale. An average in Massachusetts is somewhere between 4 and 6% right now. And the agent who has taken the listing then agrees to share a portion of that money, usually half, not always, with the agent who brings the buyer forward. So technically, the listing agency pays us, the seller agrees to pay us, and the money comes from the proceeds of the sale, which are provided by the buyer.
So essentially, the transaction pays the commission.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it doesn't cost a buyer any additional money to work with a qualified buyer's agent. Now, exceptions to every rule, right? If you hire me as a buyer's agent and there's nothing on the market you wish to buy, and you instruct me to talk to people who have their homes listed for sale by owner, or if I take initiative and create a sale for you by knocking on doors, writing letters, calling people who have homes like one you'd like to buy, you may be asked to pay the buyer's agent commission. Those situations are rare and, frankly, usually well worth it, because the agent has gone the extra mile for you.
Okay. Well, that's it in a nutshell, I guess. We
I
understand.
hope so. I know it's confusing, and I know a lot of agents get confused. So what I would just say is, if you're still confused, call me. I'll answer your questions anytime. My number, I think, is at the end of the video, right? So is yours.
You can get in touch with us.
And we both can answer this question. We are both students of this topic, right?
Sounds wonderful.
There you go.
Listen, have a wonderful rest of your week.
I intend to. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.